What's up, my friends? Welcome back to your Push Coach. My name is Josh. I'm your Push Coach. Excited to chat with you today about something that I really feel is a very important thing, which is duplication. Before we jump into that, just a quick, fun little update. We had a big 5-day challenge last week that was absolutely amazing. We had like 15 different guest speakers. Was incredible. We had 120 new people join the Legacy Leadership University, which is a membership that I run for people that want actual teaching and training on like what the hell to actually do on a day-to-day basis instead of just being told, go talk to more people, go do more things. The Legacy Leadership University is all about breaking down what that actually looks like and how to implement it in your business. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today, because probably the most overused, out of context word that I hear, specifically in the network marketing world, but it obviously happens in other industries as well. You know, I work with some realtors who are building up a team of realtors. I work with some insurance people that are building up teams of people. And it's this word, the word is duplication. And I hear this word used all the freaking time. Well, it's got to be duplicatable. I got to be able to duplicate. I got to be able to teach my team. I got to be able to do this. And duplication is this tricky thing where it is one of the most important things, and yet no one seems to know what it means. And so today I kind of want to break down what duplication should look like versus what I see it looking like. What I see it looking like is kind of this idea that everyone needs to stop trying to reinvent the wheel and just do all of the things that their upline or their mentor is doing. And the way I like to explain it is this. The way I see duplication happening is more of like copy paste leadership. In other words, I posted this, so you should post this. I did it this way, so you should do it this way. I built it on this platform, so you should build it on this platform. And today I kind of want to just expose how unhealthy that is, but also why it's not working. First of all, it's unhealthy because one of my favorite quotes that I learned from life coaching says this: it is arrogant and ignorant to assume that someone else can do exactly as you have done and get the same results. I'm going to say that one more time. It is arrogant and ignorant to assume that someone else can do exactly what you have done and get the same results. And I hear people saying things like this all the time. If I could just get another me, if I could just get another me. And what I'm trying to constantly remind the leaders that I work with is the goal should not be to get another you. It should be to empower the best them. Okay? If you're the Michael Jordan of your team, the goal is not to get another Michael Jordan. My God, you guys would butt heads like crazy. Michael Jordan is the most competitive person in the world. And if you threw another Michael Jordan on the team, it wouldn't work right. Michael Jordan needed a Scottie Pippen, needed the first time around a Horace Grant, the second time around a Dennis Rodman, the first time around a John Paxson, the second time around a Steve Kerr. The makeup of the teams, the first three-peat and the second three-peat, very similar. A lot of people that worked well together because of their different strengths, but their collective energy and accountability and drive and goal and mission. They need to be the same person, okay? They needed to be on the same page. And this is where I really see, and I talk to a lot of people behind the scenes that share this frustration with me of, Josh, my upline or my leader says that I have to do it this way because this is how they did it. And guys, this is really unhealthy for grown adults to be telling other grown adults what they have to do. If I'm just being honest, that's just fucked up. Like, nobody has to do shit. That's why we became entrepreneurs, so we could think for ourselves. But here's what's crazy. I hear leaders saying things like, everyone needs to do it my way. And then 5 minutes later, complaining that no one thinks for themselves, complaining that no one takes ownership, complaining that no one else has ideas or wants to contribute to the energy or the value of the group. I'm like, well, When we tell people over and over and over, stop doing it your way and doing it exactly like me, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to this. First of all, we're saying your ideas don't matter. We're saying it doesn't really matter what's authentic to you. You should just be like me. And then third of all, we're basically telling them that like their creative capacity just doesn't even matter. And I know that no one means those things. No one means, I'm not here to call anyone out for being like intentionally like doing wrong. I don't think anyone's ever like really intentionally doing wrong. Occasionally, there's a couple assholes out there, but for the most part, all of us are just doing our very best with what we know. And that's why this podcast is really important to me, to help you to see things from a different lens, because that's one of the beautiful things about being on the outside is I get to see all of these things happening and be like, what? Why are we doing that? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So here's what's really important. I want to help you to hopefully understand what healthy duplication means, okay? A healthy duplication would mean that you have some type of system or method or structure that is easily customizable and reused by someone else with a totally different flavor or a totally different vibe. In other words, instead of I made this post, everyone go copy and paste this. Instead, here's what leaders really need to do. And this is what I work on inside my membership, is doing this for people. Here's the post that I made. Here's why I made a post like this. Here's why I said the things that I said. Now let's think through how the principles of this post or the method that I was using could be used, but with your voice for your people. One of the things I think we really forget, first of all, every single one of us is our own personal brand, and that is a very important thing. Authenticity is a very important thing. And when we're trying to get people to copy us, we're pulling them away from their authenticity, which makes them either not take action because it doesn't feel aligned, or getting them to basically burn out quickly because no one wants to continue in a brand that's not authentic. Nobody wants to do that. Like literally no one wants to be inauthentic. It's one of our greatest fears as content creators is to be inauthentic. So what we need to understand is that we can take something that we're doing and we can unravel, like, why did we do it this way, and explain it, and then help people customize it. One of the reasons people don't like to do this is because it takes a little bit more thinking. It takes a little bit more brain work. I think that there's a lot of people who have accumulated skills over time, and they're not really consciously aware of how they developed those skills or even like what that framework was. And so instead of taking the time to sit down and ask themselves, what did I piece together to create this puzzle? And how can I teach other people to how to piece the same things together, but to make their puzzle, their picture? Does that make sense? And so I like to say, like, listen, if you can't explain it with some type of a framework or system or method, it is not duplicatable. It is copy and pastable. And copy and pastable is not a healthy way to lead, to teach, or to learn and do. So whether you're the leader, it's not a healthy way to lead. If you're the student, the mentee, if you will, it's not a healthy way to learn. The healthy way to learn is to actually teach people to think for themselves by teaching them methods and structures and then showing them how to customize those. And so that's one of the reasons inside the membership, we deal off of some really very specific methods. So for the sake of mindset and working on your limiting beliefs, I teach something called the push method, which is in my life coach certification. That's what we teach people how to use to coach other people. Inside the membership, we're teaching you how to use this framework for self-coaching, to understand the difference between facts and stories. Facts are things we can all agree on. The story is what our brain interprets about the fact. So, for example, someone will come to me and say, Josh, I'm struggling. No one ever responds to my messages. Well, There's probably some messaging techniques that we need to work on also, but I want you to just think about this for a second. No one ever responds to my messages. Is that a fact or a story? That is absolutely a story, because I'm sure somewhere, somehow, some way, someone in your life has responded to at least one message. So if someone has ever responded to any message that you have sent, it would be an exaggeration or a story or a limiting belief that no one ever responds. And what's really important with self-coaching is that if we can't separate the facts from the stories, then we kind of get stuck in these places where we think things are happening to us. And that's the victim mentality. Okay. Victim mentality is everything is happening to me. So here's a traditional teaching on that is more of what I would call the copycat leader would be like, listen, you have to stop being a victim. Okay. You have to make the decision that life is happening for you, not to you. So starting from now on, never be a victim again. That would be what I would consider copy and paste. Okay. That's basically just telling people to stop doing something without explaining how. Okay. True leadership, true duplication would be like, listen, this is why it's important. This is why it's happening. And oh, by the way, this is how to actually go about exposing that and working through that. Be very, very careful of a lot of teachings that have a lot of what to do and almost know how to do. Because the reality is there's only a few things to do. There's not a lot of what's we need to do in business, but there is a lot of hows. Okay. Like we need to be posting on social media every day. That's the what. But anyone that's like, just post, just do it, just go for it. Well, that's a lot of what's with no how, right? So there's a little bit of a what, which is, yeah, you do need to post. Okay. That's simple. We got that out of the way. Cool. Done. Now let's dig into the how. Okay. So for the mindset, instead of just telling people to stop being a victim, maybe walk them through what that actually looks like. And so inside my membership, that's why we teach on the push method and show you exactly what it looks like, teach you a framework that you can use over and over and over, hence duplication. When it comes to messaging, there's two types of messaging. There's one-to-one messaging. That would be, just like a DM or a text or a phone call or a Zoom chat with one other person. And then there's one-to-many. Okay. And the principles are similar, but they get used in different ways. I call it building a belief bridge. Okay. And what I do is I literally walk people through the psychology of what other people are thinking, what is going on in their brain and what is going on in their feelings. Because what most people do is like, well, just go make a post, just go talk to more people, just scream it from the rooftops. Well, that's the what. Remember, that's the what. That's not the how. Okay. So for me, it's all about using some type of a framework. The duplicatable framework we use inside the Legacy Leadership University is called the Belief Bridge, something I've taught for a few years that literally teaches you to, in advance, take some time to ask better questions, to find out what people actually care about, to find out what people are thinking about, what people are talking about. And instead of just rambling about your products, you speak to the other person's pain. You speak to the other person's desire. You speak to the other person's concern. You also realize that every time somebody has something they want, they have a limiting belief that comes along with it. Okay. It's one of the reasons it doesn't work to tell people to just go post. When you say to post, there are limiting beliefs that come up about posting. And so if we don't address some of that as a teacher, but also as a content creator, if we don't address the limiting beliefs, we're going to fail. It's going to make it really, really, really hard to make sales. And I'll give you an example. One of the examples is I saw someone that made a post that was like, if you can afford $3 for your daily coffee or $5 or whatever the hell it is. I don't know where they're getting $3 coffee. If you can afford, $6 or $7 for your daily Starbucks, you can afford my health supplements. It's like, okay, cool. But I don't want to give up my Starbucks. So why, when you make a post like that, first of all, it's leading with shame, which is not a great way to have a conversation with someone. Imagine walking up to someone and saying, you look like you need to lose weight. Okay. That's a real bad way to start a conversation. But even though this is not that, it's very similar. Like, you're basically shaming someone for going to Starbucks. And they're not going to stop just because you made them feel bad. They're just going to unfriend you or stop watching your content. Okay. So that's the first problem is you're shaming someone for what they're already doing. The second problem is you're basically planting a limiting belief in them that says the only way to be healthy is to give up on this thing that they really, really like. That's another just really bad way. That's like me telling my kids, listen, if you want to be healthy, you can never have ice cream again. That's not what my kids want to hear. My kids want to hear, hey, if you eat healthy, you can have some ice cream. See how that works so much better. So when we don't understand the psychology of how messaging actually works and how someone else's brain actually responds to the words we're saying, we can accidentally burn bridges instead of building bridges. Okay. Same with leadership. I teach a lot on the 4Ms. Many of you have heard me teach on that. Again, everything I teach is a framework or a method that can be taught and then customized. If what you're teaching can only be copy and pasted, that's not really helping anyone. All you're doing is saying, go be just like me. And the really big problem with that is no one that's following you thinks they could actually live up to you, or they wouldn't be following you. They'd be doing their own thing. So we are sometimes as leaders accidentally churning people into followers who don't think for themselves because we didn't teach them how to. When we teach customizable frameworks, we actually end up helping people to become more educated, to think for themselves, to take more action because it feels aligned and it feels good. It feels like something they want to do. Not to mention, we're now giving them new skills, which is what they need to be successful. No one can be successful by just copying and pasting their way to the top. They're not going to make it very far. We have to do a better job as leaders of teaching and training people on the actual skills it takes to create success. That is one of the reasons I'm really passionate about my membership, friends, is I want so badly to help you to become what I would consider a true entrepreneur. A true entrepreneur is someone who can sell anything because they've learned the skills, but they also don't need they don't need anyone else. Okay. In other words, you can still take advantage of the fact that you're in a network marketing company where you have people to lean on and you have people to look up to, and you don't have to create your own products, but you don't depend on the network marketing company because you are a self-sustainable brand all by yourself. Does that make sense? That is the healthiest way to build a business, is to develop the actual skills that you become irreplaceable. There's a lot of people that, if something happens with their company, and I'm not speaking that over anyone's company, but if something happens to the company, there's a lot of people like, I literally don't know what to do because the only thing I knew how to do was copy and paste everything that was being handed to me. And now that that's gone, I literally am lost. True entrepreneurs, if your business shuts down, you're like, that sucks. It's not fun, but shit, I can rebuild this anywhere I want, anytime I want, any way I want. That is an entrepreneur. Okay. You could take away my business. Please don't. Please don't, universe. I'm not asking for that, but you could take away my business and I could go recreate anything I've done in this industry or in another. I could go sell cars with the skills that I have got from this. I could go sell insurance. I could go sell roofing. I could literally go sell anything, lead anyone, anywhere, anytime, because I've acquired the skills. And when you acquire those skills, that's when you become irreplaceable and you become unstoppable. So, friends, please, please, please remember, okay? If it's not customizable, it's not true duplication, it's copy and paste. And if you want to raise up leaders, we need to do a better job of teaching the frameworks and the skill sets that help people to learn how to do it in an aligned way for their brand. Hope that helps you today. I really, really, really do. I think it's such a powerful thing to understand. Leaders raise up leaders. Okay. That's something that John Maxwell taught me. I literally have a coin sitting right here on my desk. If you're watching the video version on YouTube, it says leaders growing leaders. This is a coin that I got from John Maxwell it says 2016 on the coin. So I guess I got leaders growing leaders. And I keep this on my desk as a reminder that it's not my job to build up an entire stadium full of fans and followers, even though that's something that comes along with the territory if you do a good enough of a job. My best gift to the world and my greatest leadership agenda that I can have is to fill a field full of players, people who know what they're doing, people who are in the right position, ready to win the game. That's what I want to help you do. So thanks for hanging with me today. I appreciate you so much. I love you. I believe in you, and I'm cheering you on. Please remember, everything you need is on the inside. All the resources you'll ever need right under your nose. Have an amazing day, friends, and I'll see you soon.